It's safe to say that Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen will be mentioned in the same breath for as long as the sport of Formula One exists. These two gladiators have provided us with racing moments we will surely remember for the rest of our lives. But as competitive as these two are, Max has recently revealed that he does not understand why he and Lewis come together so much on track. So what did Max say exactly? Well, you're going to have to stick around to find out. But before we get to it, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on our latest uploads. Now that's out of the way, let's get started. As much as Verstappen embodies a fiery persona, the two-time world champion has said on many occasions that he respects Lewis for what he has achieved in the sport. But with that comes questions, he said, as to why he and Lewis have crashed into each other so many times. If we compare Max's battles with Lewis in 2021 to his battles this season with Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, the amount of crashes that happened while battling each other are complete opposites. If anything, Verstappen would still crash into Lewis this season, even though Lewis isn't a viable threat for the driver's title this season. During an interview with Motorsport, as quoted by SilverArrows.net, Verstappen spoke about his on-track rivalry with Hamilton. He explained, "I have to be careful what I'm saying here, but with everyone I've been fighting, it's been really hard, aggressive battles, and we never really came together. Somehow, with Lewis, it's a different story, and I honestly don't understand. Like, this year, okay, we haven't really had a lot of battles, but Brazil, we got together. It was not my intention to crash. I got the blame for it, which I didn't find fair. If it would have been more of a racing incident, that I could live with. But I don't understand. Maybe it's just a generation thing, that we understand each other better. We're racing nicer to each other. I don't get it. But I don't feel like I'm doing anything different to Lewis or to the other drivers in terms of how we're racing. Because the day before in Brazil with George Russell, we were having an incredible battle, closing the door, defending, outbraking each other. That was a lot of fun, and I was trying to do the same in the main race, having that kind of battle. But unfortunately, we couldn't get it to work." Verstappen would then clarify his comments to make sure that his words wouldn't be twisted by the media, specifically the UK media. In England, this comment on Hamilton can very quickly be received as criticism, and then I'm being called out on it, said Verstappen. "I always respect Lewis a lot for what he has achieved in the sport, but that's why I don't really understand why we cannot really race like I've been doing with the others. Of course, everyone is different in their approach. I know that Charles Leclerc is a bit different to George, or to Carlos Sainz, or to Checo Perez, or whoever. I do have to be a little bit more careful with that because immediately it's really taken as criticism. And then people start to hate on you. Well, that's not my intention." During his early days in the sport, Max had a reputation as being gung-ho and causing unnecessary collisions. But in the recent past, the two-time world champion has cleaned up his tactics, which arguably has led him to his two titles. But to multiple-time MotoGP champion Marc Marquez, it is Max's X-factor as a driver is his killer instinct. Appearing on MotoGP's YouTube channel, Marc would say, "Max is ambitious, and I like that. Then, of course, talented, but then a killer." Marquez said of Verstappen when asked to describe him in 3 words, "You must be a killer in sports if you want to be the best." Then when asked what quality of Max he respects the most, Marc would reply with, "The way to manage the pressure. I mean, a lot of riders are fast, they're talented, many drivers are fast in the tests, but then in the race, in the moment, on the day, to manage all the pressure is the most difficult thing, and he manages really well." But as much as Max is receiving praise from various personalities, Lewis, on the other hand, would be praised by 2 ex-Red Bull drivers of all people. Former Red Bull driver David Coulthard would say that we only got to see Lewis at 99% of his full capabilities, citing the incident in Abu Dhabi back in 2021 as the reason why Lewis was out of himself until the midway point of the 2022 season. In my opinion, Lewis has only found the energy during the season and also the hunger for success, Coulthard told motorsport.com. After Abu Dhabi last year, the winter break was only short and frustration prevailed with Lewis. Also, he's been driving at the front for a long time in his career and was given an extra blow when the car was not good enough for pole positions or victories at the beginning of the year. And with his hunger for success coming back to life, the 7-time world champion would still finish 35 points behind his teammate George Russell, who also won the team's only race in 2022. That being said, Coulthard believes we eventually saw a Hamilton at 99% of his abilities in 2022. George has done well this year without any doubt. Let that be clear, said Coulthard. But Lewis, with his recovered motivation, is now also back to, say, 99% of what he's capable of. Many would argue that Lewis taking on the role of trying different setups during the earlier parts of the season cost him a good amount of points in the driver's standings. An argument another former Red Bull driver in Mark Webber believes is valid. That winner's instinct is in him, though, said Webber. If victories are achievable again next year, I think we will see the old Lewis again. The 2022 season was one of the hardest races for Lewis, as it marked the first season he wasn't able to win a single race. Before the 2022 season, Lewis went 14 years straight, having at least one race win in each season. So, considering Mercedes was still able to snatch a win in 2022 with Russell, whilst having the bouncing problems they had during the earlier parts of the season, a race win at the minimum is what Lewis will undoubtedly aim for in 2023. And now that their boss Toto Wolff has hinted that the car will be quite different this time around by saying, "It's full of surprises," Wolff told media during PlanetF1.com. "The last time I saw it, I thought, oh, this looks the same as the W13, but here's hoping it's not the same. I think we have a much better understanding of what the problems were," he explained. "We've been peeling only a layer of the onion. Layers of discovering more issues and more problems, but I think we've come to the point that we understand pretty well why the car is not performing." I guess only time will tell if Lewis will be able to get back up there and give us another memorable season battling with Max. So who do you want to see come out on top between these two in 2023? Let us know in the comments section below. And, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't.